Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. My name is Kashif Mazhar and I am the subject teacher of English for class 6. During the course of this week, we have been discussing a verb and its different types. We talked about modal verbs and auxiliary verbs. We talked about transitive and intransitive verbs. And then we talked about regular and irregular verbs. Today we'll be elaborating the topic of regular and irregular verbs. We will discuss how we can recognize the forms of verb if they are same in different tenses. Later we'll be talking about application writing, and then I'll also share a draft of an application with the title School Living Certificate. The SLOs for today, beta. After going through today's lecture, the students will be able to understand further about regular and irregular verbs. रेगुलर और इरेगुलर वर्ब्स के मतलब कुछ मज़ीद बात करेंगे, आपके उनके मतलब मज़ीद कुछ जान सकेंगे. नंबर 2, नो अबाउट द रिकग्निशन ऑफ फॉर्म्स ऑफ वर्ब इन डिफरेंट टेंसेस. मुख्तलिफ टेंसेस के अंदर क्या पहचान होती है फॉर्म्स ऑफ वर्ब की, या फॉर्म्स ऑफ वर्ब को किस तरह रिकग्नाइज किया जा सकता है डिफरेंट टेंसेस में, हम उसके मतलब बात करेंगे. नंबर 3, नो अबाउट द प्रोज एंड कॉन्स ऑफ अ गुड एप्लीकेशन. क्या डिटेल्स हैं, ऐसी कौन सी माइन्यूट बातें हैं, चीज़ें हैं जो एक अच्छी एप्लीकेशन लिखने के बारे में आपको याद होनी चाहिए, या एक अच्छी एप्लीकेशन लिखते हुए आपको उन बातों को, उन चीज़ों को फॉलो करना चाहिए. नंबर 4, प्रैक्टिस राइटिंग एप्लीकेशन अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर नीड्स. और फिर आप अपनी ज़रूरत के मुताबिक डिफरेंट एप्लीकेशंस को लिखने की जो प्रैक्टिस करेंगे. Let's talk about regular and irregular verbs. First, let us recall what we learned yesterday about the two categories of main verb. Regular verbs are the verb whose second and third form can be obtained by adding ed at the end of their base verb. कल हमने बात की थी कि रेगुलर वर्ब्स वो वर्ब्स होते हैं जिनकी बेस वर्ब यानी फर्स्ट फॉर्म के आखिर में डी या ईडी लगा देने से उनकी सेकंड और थर्ड फॉर्म हासिल हो जाती है. Irregular verbs are all other verbs who do not follow the ed rule and get their second and third form in any other way. Irregular verbs दूसरे तमाम तरह के verbs होते हैं जो इस ed रूल को फॉलो नहीं करते और अपनी सेकंड और थर्ड फॉर्म किसी भी दूसरे तरीके से हासिल करते हैं. Regular or irregular verb. We know that both regular and irregular verbs can be used as transitive और intransitive verbs. हम जानते हैं कि regular हो या irregular verb हो, उनको हम transitive या intransitive verbs के तौर पर यूज़ कर सकते हैं. Transitive verbs are the verbs which are followed by an object in the sentence and there is no object in the sentence carrying an intransitive verb. Transitive verbs में फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब के बाद ऑब्जेक्ट होता है, इंट्रांसिटिव वर्ब्स में नहीं होता. दैट डिपेंड्स अपॉन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट इन द सेंटेंस. और इस बात का इंसार यानी वेदर अ वर्ब इज ट्रांजिटिव और इंट्रांजिटिव, इस बात का इंसार जुमले में ऑब्जेक्ट की मौजूदगी पर होता है. बेस वर्ब्स वेदर दे आर रेगुलर और इरेगुलर हैव सेम फॉर्म्स ऑफ वर्ब. बेस वर्ब खा रेगुलर हों या इरेगुलर हों, उनकी फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब सेम होती हैं. Regular verbs have same simple past and past participles. Regular verbs में जो सेकंड और थर्ड फॉर्म होती है वो सेम होती है, यानी सेकंड फॉर्म जिसे आप सिंपल पास्ट फॉर्म कहते हैं और थर्ड फॉर्म जिसे पास्ट पार्टिसिपल कहा जाता है. Whereas irregular verbs also have same forms of verb as far as ways of their formation is concerned. Irregular verbs, we have discussed that there are 4 ways of the formation of irregular verbs, and we have same form of verbs. There is a rule in which we have all 3 forms the same, and then there is a rule in which we have second and third form the same, and then again we have a rule in which we have first and third form same, while the second form is different. So we have same forms in different tenses, or uh, whether our verb is regular or irregular. Recognition of a tense. How can we recognize a tense? We already know that the main verb is placed after the helping verb in a sentence. ये हमें पहले से ही मालूम है कि हम अपने हेल्पिंग वर्ब को अपने मेन वर्ब को हेल्पिंग वर्ब के बाद किसी भी सेंटेंस में प्लेस करते हैं. So how do we identify or recognize a tense when there are same form of verb both in regular and irregular verbs? So हम किस तरह अपने टेंस की पहचान कर सकते हैं जब हमारे पास रेगुलर और इरेगुलर वर्ब्स में सेम फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब्स आती हैं. द हेल्पिंग वर्ब इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट इन ग्रामेटिकल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ अ टेंस. Helping verb is a word that is placed before a verb, and that helps us in recognition of tense. So its role is quite important in any sentence. There are three tenses in English, and then those three tenses are further divided into four subtypes. अंग्रेजी ज़ुबान में we have three tenses, और फिर उनकी आगे further subtypes हैं. Present tense is further subdivided into present indefinite, and then continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. So we have four subtypes of present tense, and likewise four subtypes for past and future tenses as well. So collectively we have 12 tenses to discuss as far as English language is concerned. We have different helping verbs for these tenses. इन tenses के लिए हमारे पास separate different helping verb हैं. For each and every tense we have a different helping verb, and that's why it is easier for us to recognize a tense once we have memorized the helping verbs that are used in different tenses. When we are required to identify a tense, we have to look for its helping verb. जब हमें किसी टेंस को आइडेंटिफाई करना है, जब हमें किसी टेंस की पहचान करनी है, तो फिर हमें उसके हेल्पिंग वर्ब को देखना होता है. So, recognition of a tense. I considered it appropriate to make tables in which there should be columns of tenses, helping verbs, and forms of verbs, so that it becomes easier for you to understand um, all the 12 tenses, the helping verbs that are used in them, and then the form of verbs that go with a particular tense. So let's have a look at the following tables. We have the tense of present, present indefinite, in which we have helping verb do or does. There are forms of verb with first of them is S or ES form, and second one is first form. S or ES form is used, which is also called a third person singular form, when our subject is either a singular noun or third person singular. I mean to say, if my subject is either he, she, or it, or I have a singular common or proper noun like uh, Rashid or the boy, so I'll be using S or ES along with the first form of verb, uh, while first form of verb is simple. First form is used with all the other subjects. I, we, you, they, or plural noun, whether they are common noun or proper nouns, we use do with them, and first form of verb with them. Do is the helping verb that is used with plural pronouns, while does is used with third person singular and uh, singular common or proper noun. Present continuous is RM, ing form. Again, there are different subjects that carry is as helping verb, and then are. Am is the helping verb that is used with the pronoun I, but we use the ing form with all the subjects and helping verbs. So present perfect has and have, third form of verb beta. For again, for singular subjects we have has as our helping verb, and for plural subjects we have, and then third form present perfect continuous likewise has been and have been, and ing form. Because the sentence is continuous, so in present continuous and present perfect continuous we use ing form of verb. Let's talk about the past tense, beta. Um, Again, subtypes of past tense: past indefinite, past continuous, perfect, and then perfect continuous. In past indefinite, we have the helping verb did. In past continuous, was and were. Past perfect had, and then past perfect continuous had been. Past indefinite helping verb did, form of verb second form. We use second form of verb when we do not have the helping verb did in the sentence. जब हमारे पास जुमले में डिड का हेल्पिंग वर्ब नहीं होता, यानी हमारा पास्ट इंडेफिनिट का पॉजिटिव जुमला, उसमें हम सेकंड फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब इस्तेमाल करते हैं. लाइक आई रोट अ लेटर. रोट इज़ द सेकंड फॉर्म ऑफ द वर्ब राइट, एंड बिकॉज आई डो नॉट हैव द हेल्पिंग वर्ब ऑफ dead in the sentence, so that's why I'm using the second form of verb. And if did comes in sentence, when you convert the sentence into negative interrogative or negative interrogative, first form of verb is used. Why is it so? Because did is already the past form of do, so we cannot have two past forms in the same sentences, because we already have did as the past form of do in the sentence. So whenever there is did in a sentence, we use first form of verb with it. Past continuous was and were, ing form. Past perfect had, and then third form, had is the only helping verb. It means with all subjects we use the helping verb had. Likewise, past perfect continuous, we have the only helping verb of had been. That means had been goes with all subjects. And then, because the sentence is continuous, we'll be using ing form. Future tense. Future tense, subtypes of future tense, beta. Future indefinite, then continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. Will be, shall be, or will have, shall have, and will have been, shall have been. It is recommended that we should not use shall be uh, when the only helping verb for future indefinite is will. So it is recommended that you use will be, will have, and will have been as the helping verb in other three tenses. But there are students and there are books and institutions in which shall as helping verb for future tenses is still recommended and taught. So that's why I have mentioned it in this table. Otherwise, it seems appropriate that if you have will as the helping verb for any uh, tense of future, you should use will in other tenses as well. So if you have used will in future indefinite, you should use will be in future continuous, will have in future perfect, and will happen in future perfect continuous. Anyway, future indefinite helping verb will first form, future continuous will be ing form, future perfect will have third form, and then future perfect continuous will have been and ing form. So you might have noticed, beta, that we have almost the same form of verbs in the four subtypes of three main tenses. But then comes the role of helping verb, and the helping verb is actually the word or phrase that helps us in the recognition of tense. I mean to say, if I'm using was with ing form, it means I'm talking about past continuous tense. But if there is will be along with the ing form, that becomes a sentence of future continuous. So uh, with that change of helping verb, although we may have the same form of verb, the tense changes. So this is the thing that you need to keep in your mind. You need to memorize the helping verbs used in different tenses, and hopefully that will do for you. Okay, let's talk about application writing, beta. Application is a written request. एप्लीकेशन क्या होती है? ये तहरीरी तौर पर कोई दरख्वास्त होती है जो हम किसी सीनियर हायर अथॉरिटी से करते हैं. वी राइट एप्लीकेशंस टू अथॉरिटीज़ व्हेन वी वांट देम टू सॉल्व आवर प्रॉब्लम्स. हम एप्लीकेशंस इसलिए लिखते हैं, दरख्वास्त इसलिए करते हैं. वी मेक अ रिक्वेस्ट बिकॉज वी वांट आवर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व्ड. वी वांट टू गेट आवर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व, क्योंकि हम अपने मसाइल का हल चाहते हैं. हम चाहते हैं कि हमारे मसाइल हल हो जाएं, इसलिए हम एप्लीकेशन लिखते हैं. फॉलोइंग आर अ फ्यू पॉइंट्स दैट मे हेल्प इन राइटिंग अ गुड एप्लीकेशन. नीचे कुछ पॉइंट्स दिए हैं बेटा जो आप आपको एक अच्छी एप्लीकेशन लिखने में, एक अच्छी दरख्वास्त लिखने में मदद दे सकते हैं. Keep precise and to the point. Precise means to keep yourself brief. The element of brevity is very important in writing an application. बेटा अपनी दरख्वास्त को मुख्तसर रखें एंड टू द पॉइंट, और उस मौजू के मुताबिक जिस पर आप दरख्वास्त लिख रहे हैं, आपका जो भी प्रॉब्लम है उसके मुताबिक उससे दाएं बाएं मत हटिए. उस अपने आप को उस टॉपिक तक महदूद रखिए. यूज शॉर्ट सेंटेंसेस, छोटे जुमले. दैट इज़ अ वेरी good thing in writing a good piece of prose, whether it is an application, a paragraph, or an essay, or any letter, whether it is formal or informal letter. Short sentences save us from making unnecessary mistakes and that put a very bad impression in the mind of our reader. Avoid unnecessary details. गैर ज़रूरी तफसीलात से गुरेज करें बेटा. When we add unnecessary details in our application, the dots become lengthier, and consequently there is the element of boredom for the reader. Do not make spelling mistakes. It is a very good thing to give a second look or thought to whatever you have written, so that you may correct the mistakes that you might have made in writing quickly. Spelling mistakes need to be avoided, and if you have made some, you need to correct them. Do not exceed the paragraph limit. Your application should not exceed the limit of 2 paragraphs. It is appreciated that you discuss your problem, you mention your problem in the first paragraph, and then you make a request to solve that problem in the second one. Do not mention your problem and make a request to solve it in the same paragraph. That puts a bad impression. Keep the structure of an application in mind. Application लिखने का जो तरीका कार होता है, कॉमर्स कहाँ है, फुल स्टॉप कहाँ है, डेट कहाँ लिखनी है, सैल्यूटेशंस का, बॉडी का क्या तरीका है, नया पैराग्राफ शुरू करना है तो आपको उसको कैसे शुरू करना है, ये सब चीज़ें इनको जहन में रखा जाए. On next page, I have provided you with a paragraph of the application with the title School Living Certificate. I'm going to read it for you. You may write your application in any other way, but that is a simple draft that you may take help from. The application principal, your school name, city, your school name whatsoever the name of your school, and then the city in which that school is situated. Subject, school living certificate. Respected sir, with due reverence, it is stated that my father is a government employee. इंतहाई अदब के साथ ये गुजारिश है कि मेरे वालिद साहब एक सरकारी मुलाजिम हैं. ही हैज़ रिसेंटली बिन ट्रांसफर टू अनदर सिटी. हाल ही में उनका एक दूसरे शहर में तबादला कर दिया गया. ऑब्वियसली गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉयज़ आर ट्रांसफर्ड फ्राम वन सिटी टू अनदर सिटी टू एकम्प्लिश द टास्क असाइन टू दैम. लोगों का ट्रांसफ़र हो जाता है, वो दूसरे शहरों में चले जाते हैं. सरकारी मुलाजमों के साथ की एक आम सी बात है अगर उनकी ट्रांसफ़र कर दी जाए. ऑल माई फैमिली मेम्बर्स आर लिविंग विद हिम. मेरे तमाम ख़ानदान के अफराद उनके साथ ही रवाना हो रहे हैं. इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर मी टू स्टे हेयर अलोन एंड कंटिन्यू माई स्टडीज़. मेरे लिए यहाँ अकेले रहना और अपनी तालीम जारी रखना मुमकिन नहीं. इट इज़ देयर फॉर रिक्वेस्टेड, इसलिए आपसे दरख्वास्त की जाती है दैट आई मे काइंडली बी इशूड माई स्कूल लिविंग सर्टिफिकेट, कि मुझे मेरा स्कूल छोड़ने का सर्टिफिकेट इनायत किया जाए, अता किया जाए, सो दैट आई एम एबल टू टेक एडमिशन इन सम स्कूल ऑफ द न्यू सिटी, ताकि मैं नए शहर के किसी स्कूल में दाखिला ले सकूं एंड कंटिन्यू माई स्टडीज़, और अपनी तालीम जारी रख सकूं. आई शेल बी obliged फॉर दिस ग्रेट फेवर. You may replace the sentence with any other sentence. You may write, I'll be thankful for this great favor of yours, for this kindness, whatsoever that comes to your mind and that seems appropriate to you, you may write here. Yours obediently, and then your name, and then your class. You may write the date in the format that I have provided, 4th September, because I have not written the complete word September. That's why I have placed a full stop after SEPT. If you will be writing the complete word SEPTEMBER September, then you need to replace a comma in between 2020 and the word September. Because I have used the abbreviated form of the word September, that's why I have placed a full stop. Yours obediently, your name, and then your class. With this, we come to an end of our lecture for today, beta. Here is a recap of important points. Verbs, whether they are regular or irregular, may have same forms in different tenses. Verbs खा regular हो या irregular, उनकी मुख्तलिफ tenses में एक ही तरह की form हो सकती है. Number 2, for the recognition of a tense, helping verb plays an important role. किसी भी tense की पहचान में, उसकी शनाख्त में helping verb का किरदार बहुत अहम होता है. There are different helping verbs for different tenses. मुख्तलिफ tenses के लिए मुख्तलिफ helping verb होते हैं that help us in their identification, जो हमें उनकी शनाख्त में मदद देते हैं. एन एप्लीकेशन इज़ अ रिटन रिक्वेस्ट. एप्लीकेशन एक तहरीरी दरख्वास्त होती है, यानी एक दरख्वास्त होती है जो आप लिख कर करते हैं. नंबर 5, वी राइट एप्लीकेशन टू अथॉरिटीज़ टू गेट आवर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व. हम अफसरान को, द पीपल सिटिंग ऑन हायर पोजिशंस, उनको हम दरख्वास्तें लिखते हैं ताकि हमारे मसाइल हल हो सकें. Number 6, keep yourself precise and to the point while writing an application. ख़ुद को मौजू के मुताबिक रखिए, मुख्तसर रखिए, इख्तसार से काम लीजिए जब आप एप्लीकेशन लिख रहे हैं. यूज़ शॉर्ट सेंटेंसेस टू अवॉइड ग्रामेटिकल एंड स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक्स. ग्रामर से मुतल्लिका और स्पेलिंग से मुतल्लिका मिस्टेक्स, अगलात को उनसे बचने के लिए छोटे छोटे जुमले लिखिए. डू नॉट एक्सीड द पैराग्राफ लिमिट अलाउड फॉर राइटिंग एप्लीकेशन. एप्लीकेशन लिखने के लिए जो 2 पैराग्राफ्स की लिमिट है उसको एक्सीड ना कीजिए. और उसमें भी कीप पॉइंट नंबर 6 इन योर माइंड, दैट कीप योर सेल्फ प्रिसाइज. मुख्तसर टू द पॉइंट बात सबको अच्छी लगती है बेटा, ये दूसरे को बोरियत से बचाती है, या आपके मतलब को बेहतर तरीके से कन्वे कर देती है. जो भी बात आप करना चाहते हैं दूसरा से आसानी से समझ लेता है. सो do not exceed the paragraph limit, that is of 2 paragraph allowed for writing application. In first paragraph you need to mention your problem, and then you make a request to solve that problem in the second one. Keep the structure of writing an application in mind. Application लिखने का क्या तरीका है, where you need to place a comma, where how you start a new paragraph, and how do you end your application, what is the complementary closing, what is the body of the letter. You need to keep that structure of writing any application in your mind. With this, we come to an end of our lecture for today, beta. I thank you all. There will be an assignment. Attempt it and then send it to me. Stay blessed and keep me remember in your prayers. Allah Hafiz.